Hey guys, well, we're starting to get down to the wire. We have about a week left before the Oscars, and the categories we're going to be looking at in these last couple of days are basically the hardest categories to predict. Because we started out with some of the easier categories, but now things are getting progressively harder. So, these last couple of videos, you don't have to take my advice at all. You can just flip a coin if you want to. They're going to be pretty hard to get a grasp on. So, today we're looking at the category of Best Foreign Language Film. I have not seen any of these. The only foreign film I saw this year was First They Killed My Father, which is a really incredible film, but it did not even make the shortlist to be nominated, which is a real shame. These nominees, I think one of them is on Netflix. I'll get to that later, but I haven't seen them, so let's just take a look at these nominees. Fifth most likely to win is The Insult. Now, I know nothing about these movies. I'm literally going to IMDb right now. So, The Insult. Yeah, this is a foreign film, and it was nominated, and I think people liked it. After an emotional exchange between a Lebanese Christian and a Palestinian refugee escalates, the men end up in a court case that gets national attention. Okay, so basically one insult spirals completely out of control. It's basically politics. I don't know. For some reason, I just don't think it's gonna be a contender in this category. I guess it seems too slight compared to the other nominees, and it doesn't seem as loved as the other nominees or as widely seen. It's funny because not only did First They Killed My Father not make it, but also In the Fade, which won the Golden Globe, that also was not nominated. So all the big contenders for this award don't seem to be in the conversation at all, which makes things interesting. So, let's just skip ahead to the second nominee for Best Foreign Language Film. Fourth most likely to win is On Body and Soul. The premise is when slaughterhouse workers Andre and Maria discover they share the same dreams, where they meet in a forest as deer and fall in love, they decide to make their dreams come true, but it's difficult in real life. Yeah, this one's kind of weird just from the premise. It kind of reminds me of that Japanese anime film Your Name, only somehow weirder. And when a live-action film is weirder than Japanese anime, then something's wrong. This one is on Netflix. I have not seen it. The reason I place it higher than The Insult is because it is on Netflix, so I think more people will have access to it, more people will be able to see it. But even if people do see it, it's sort of a question of, will they like it? Obviously, it's well-liked enough because it got an Oscar nomination, but I don't know, it just feels like such an out there choice to give it the win. Third most likely to win is Loveless. The premise is a couple going through a divorce must team up to find their son, who has disappeared during one of their bitter arguments. Now, that is an intriguing premise, and I think it's that reason alone why I have it higher than the other two. But outside of that, I mean, it's getting good reviews and all that, but it's just so hard to tell with this category because none of these films are really widely seen. And it's not like there was a big foreign powerhouse that really took everyone by storm this year. I mean, people loved First They Killed My Father and In the Fade, but those weren't nominated. Loveless has good reviews, definitely, but it just seems like such an out there choice. I mean, it seems, I guess, an intimate choice. I mean, it just feels like such a small film. It's about two parents and a kid. And I don't know. It just feels like it's not going to be enough. But it always could win. Who knows? I certainly don't want to question anything with this category. Second most likely to win is The Square. Premise: a prestigious Stockholm museum's chief art curator finds himself in times of both professional and personal crisis as he attempts to set up a controversial new exhibit. Now, this movie could very easily win. It won the Palme d'Or at Cannes, I believe. Yeah, it was making the news like in March or April when that happened. It was like, ooh, it won the Square wins Cannes, and it's funny because that was the same time as the movie The Circle with Emma Watson came out, and that movie was getting terrible reviews. So I made a joke about, well, it's no surprise that The Square is a better movie than The Circle. The Circle was pointless. Moving on from that joke. Okay, I don't know if anyone found that funny. This won Cannes. And the fact that it won Cannes, I think, makes it a very legitimate contender, and it's there, but I don't know, I feel it's just lost a lot of momentum since Cannes. And momentum is a very important thing to have, and that is why I'm sticking my gun on the last choice. I'm sticking my bets. Why did I say I'm sorry. I do not have a gun. I'm sticking my bet on number one most likely to win, which is A Fantastic Woman. The premise is Marina, a transsexual woman who works as a waitress and moonlights as a nightclub singer, is bowled over the death of her older boyfriend. So, this movie stars Daniela Vega in the lead role, a real transsexual woman, and I think there was genuinely a lot of praise not only about the film but also about her performance, and there were people even saying that she might become the first ever transgender nominee for acting, which would have been huge had it happened. But it makes sense why it didn't, because the film was very, very small and didn't have a lot of people seeing it. It's a foreign film, so it's hard to get people that excited about a foreign film. However, people really like her and her performance, and they really like the film as a whole. And the fact that it's the movie about a transgender woman, it's topical. And some people will be like, I mean, we're very, very close. I think 10 years from now, we will have had at least one transgender acting nominee. Like, the tide is turning fast, and for good reason. And what's interesting about this film is that the character she's playing is transgender, but it's not the focus of the film. It's sort of a background thing. The film almost stands on its own outside of the character being transgender. And I think that's interesting, and it tells, the most important thing to keep in mind about transgender, both men and women, is that their life is not defined by the fact that they are transgender. And it's interesting, again, I haven't seen it, but people love the movie and people love her performance. And again, it's because it's foreign film, a lot of people will not have seen it, but how many people have seen any of these nominees? And I feel that even if you haven't seen any of the nominees, you'll go, oh, A Fantastic Woman, I know what that is, that's the transgender movie, I'll vote for that because progress. I think it almost becomes the default vote. And for that reason alone, I think A Fantastic Woman is going to win the Oscar. It also has a lot of praise behind it and a lot of praise behind the performance. So I feel that this is a surefire contender for the Academy Award. It might not make it in the end, but right now I have to consider it the frontrunner. Thanks everyone for watching. Tune in tomorrow where I take a look at the category of Best Original Song.